After leading the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs to a national championship, I think it's safe to say that the 22 season could be the toughest year to date for Kirby Smart. Listen, when you're losing 7 to 8 starters on one side of the ball, in Georgia's case on defense, more on offense, including a left tackle, left guard, 2 running backs, and maybe the most talented receiver you had come through in over a decade, yeah, it's going to be tough for any team to rally back and have the same type of year as they did the year before. So that's why I think if Kirby Smart, with all of these guys leaving, I mean, the talent is crazy, right? We're going to see in next month's NFL draft how much talent is leaving Athens. 3 starters on the defensive line: Trayvon Walker, Devonta Wyatt, Jordan Davis, the number 1 linebacker in college football last year in Nakobe Dean, starter Quay Walker, contributor Channing Tindall, in the secondary, starter Lewis Seen, starter Darian Kendrick. You're missing a ton of guys. Now, I know that they've got multiple 5-stars sitting on the bench waiting their turn in the wings. I would know because I covered recruiting. I know how much talent is sitting there on the bench just waiting for their turn, right? But at the end of the day, it is going to be really, really tough to replace those guys. I mean, can you replace Jordan Davis? Is there another 6'6", 330, 40-pound guy on the team? Not that I know of. Now, you can replace him with multiple guys, but can you replace the Butkus Award winner? Right? I mean, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, who's going to be a sophomore next year, he's really good. And I think he's going to take the reins and do a really good job in the middle of the field. But is he Nakobe Dean? Can he make that type of impact? Maybe in a couple of years. I'm not sure he can next year. Now, the schedule is not daunting. They get Oregon to start off. Oregon is a talented team, but they're not going to be able to handle Georgia, right? They just don't have the depth. They don't have the overall talent. South Carolina could be a little tricky. In Columbia, Spencer Rattler, again, they don't have the depth, they don't have the talent. I don't think Georgia should lose a regular season game. I expect them to win the East. There's still plenty of talent, and they do have a returning starting quarterback, right? That's your go-to. You don't want to replace the starting quarterback, and they're not going to have to this year. Now, they still need other guys to contribute at running back. They still need the receivers to continue to grow and develop. They've got the best tight end room in the country, and the offensive line is going to be one of the strengths of the team. But I still think, man, if Kirby Smart can go out and win the East like I expect him to, if they can win an SEC title and get back to the playoff, I mean, dude has to be up for Coach of the Year, and it has to be probably his best coaching job of any of the years he's been in Athens. Now, the first year, 2016, was rough. That was really, really tough. Of course, they lost to Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, yada, 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 Georgia Tech. That's not going to happen anymore. But if he's able to replace 8 starters on defense, depending on, if you think Channing Tindall is a starter, he was on special teams, he contributed enough to be a starter type. If he can replace all of those guys and bring a championship level defense back to Athens with guys, new starters, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, Tramel Walthour on the defensive line, maybe guys like Smile Munden, Mikael Sherman, Chaz Chambliss, Xavier Sori at linebacker. Tresman Marshall's another guy too, freshman Jalen Walker. You do have Chris Smith, William Poole returning in the secondary. Tyke Smith is a guy that we didn't see much at all last year, really. He's coming back. We know what Keely Ringo can bring, but you still need probably another safety, and you still probably need another cornerback there. So there's still some developing to do, but I do think it's going to be a little tough just because you are losing so many guys. You got to replace your left tackle, probably going to do that with Broderick Jones. Left guard is up for grabs. There's plenty of talent there. Maybe Amarius Mims slips in there since right tackle is taken with Warren McClendon, probably the most underrated player on the team. George Pickens is replaceable, right? You can't replace the talent. There's no one as talented as him in the receiving room, but you just have to replace his production. And he didn't produce a whole lot because he was injured for most of the year. So his production is replaceable. You're going to have to replace Zamir White and James Cook. Now, Kenny McIntosh is a great option. If Kendall Milton is healthy, that's a great option. Dejan Edwards is going to surprise some people, and we'll see if one of the 2 freshmen, Andrew Paul or Branson Robinson, are able to get some playing time. But again, they're so banged up in this spring, too. And now these guys, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, and a few of those defenders who are out right now missing spring, they'll be back for the fall. But I still think if Kirby is able to just rebuild, and especially that defense in just 1 year, and have that quick turnaround and have those 5 stars that he recruited play like 5 stars and look like it on the field and make plays that people expect them to, now that they're able to possibly push for a starting role, then you're going to have to give it to him. I mean, he is one of the best recruiters in college football. He's one of the best developers in college football. And I think we're really going to see that in this 22 season because there's going to be a lot of new faces, especially on defense. And if they can continue to shut out 3 or 4 teams next season and be that dominant, especially in the red zone, I mean, they just didn't let guys into the end zone. I mean, they made teams settle for field goals, and you're not going to beat Georgia settling for field goals. So if the defense can do that next year, I mean, Kirby is really going to elevate himself to, I don't want to say to Nick Saban's level because he doesn't have 6 rings or whatever Nick Saban has. But talking about, I mean, he's an X's and O's guy. We know that he developed Nick Saban's defense year after year after year. He knows what he's doing. He can teach the game as well as anyone, and he can coach up these 5-stars. You're not seeing a lot of these 5-stars come to Athens and turn into busts, right? We saw that a little bit 10 years ago during the Mark Richt era. Occasionally, one wouldn't turn out, and some would, but right now, the way Kirby's recruiting and bringing these guys in, if you're a 5-star, you're kind of going to play like it, right? And you're going to develop and get better and better under Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann and Trey Scott. What Trey Scott's done on the defensive line has been terrific. He's going to have 3 first-round guys, I believe, in this class. Another one next year in Jalen Carter, who's probably going to lead the defense. But that leads me to my next point. So many veterans are gone. They need new leaders. They need new captains. They need guys to step up and make play after play. Now, the opportunity is there for a lot of guys, especially on the defensive line and especially at linebacker. But you do have Nolan Smith off the edge, Robert Beal off the edge, Jalen Carter in the middle. You're going to have to rely on maybe a Zion Logue off the end. Warren Brinson, again, Tramel Walthour, Nazir Stackhouse. These guys need a big spring. They need to stay healthy. And if they can, I think Georgia should have one of the better defenses in the SEC and possibly the country once again. And if that happens, I mean, there's nothing you can say about Kirby Smart if you're an opposing fan or a media member that covers another team maybe, and you're not all in on Kirby Smart. Everyone should be at this point now that he brought a championship and built one of the best defenses we've ever seen in college football history. I think that's a fact. But with everyone gone and so many of these guys are going to be picked in the top 2 rounds, I think Georgia's going to break a record at the NFL draft for most players chosen, possibly most first-round picks, most guys in the first 2 or 3 rounds. So you're going to see all the talent that's gone. And if he can replace that and turn this defense around and, again, help them to compete for championships again, I think this is probably going to be his best year coaching if he can do all that. So just a thought, I think 22 could be his toughest year because he even told us the media last week, I mean, they're thin. They're thin in the secondary, but he's not going to worry about it. He's not going to cry about it, as he told us. You just got to get out there and coach and develop. The guys are there. The talent's there. And we'll see what they come up with next year. Should be a great defense. I'm excited to talk about it for the next few months. So, yeah, thanks for watching this video as always. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you over on the website.